So guys, after the first movie in this trilogy, I was convinced that was the gold standard, but after seeing the second movie, now I'm convinced this trilogy's an all-timer. We have a doozy on our hands. The Strangers Chapter 2, or Number 2 as I call it, is the second entry into this proposed trilogy. The only thing these guys are a stranger to is writing a good movie, because whatever the hell this was, can we please be done with it? So if you guys can't tell already, I hated this film, much like I hated the first film, so I'm going to rip into this one. I already did a video like this about the first movie, so if you want to see that, go check that out, but I need to get this off my chest because damn, I hated this movie. The Strangers Chapter 2 is the second movie in the Rennie Harlan trilogy, and for the life of me, I do not know why we even had to do this trilogy, let alone continue it after how bad Chapter 1 was. The movie picks up right after Chapter 1 with Maya still in the hospital, played by Madeline Pesh, and we have just found out that her poorly acted boyfriend has just died. That is right, our dearly beloved died when he was crinkling up that water bottle for oxygen because he lost his inhaler. A heartfelt moment. But anyways, the movie picks up and she is in the hospital, and we go straight up Halloween 2 clone. We have a hospital that is somehow completely isolated. Nobody is in here besides one unlucky worker who will cross the strangers. And there's going to be a theme as I go into this. This series and these two parts at this point are some of the dumbest, most incoherent written movies ever. Like the way people act, the way we set up stuff, it requires, I don't even want to say suspension of disbelief. It requires you to be dropped on your head. She wakes up in this hospital in the middle of the night, and clearly she's suffering from PTSD from that gruesome attack of the first film that I believe killed one person across 2 hours. But anyway, she's surviving, and there is one worker in this hospital that is dimly lit. It feels like nobody is here. When you get this corny scream through the door because the strangers are going to take this worker out, and they are now on the chase. Let me backtrack a bit. So while this is going on, you do get a little bit of a flashback contrast to what's going on in the town, where some cops make it known that this character survived. The town folks seemingly do not like this. That's because more than a couple of the town folk in this movie look quite suspicious. And what I mean by that is basically being as glaringly obvious as playing LA Noire when you have to guess if somebody's bluffing.
On the tires. That's all that was took.
Yeah, that's about how obvious it is to see that something is wrong with these people. But anyways, back to the hospital. So Maya is being attacked by the strangers right off. We're being thrown right into it. You think, all right, something cool is going on here. And in the opening scene in this hospital, there is actually one cool shot cinematically that I will point out. It's a oneer. It kind of reminded me of a video game cutscene where she's making her way through this abandoned hospital. And as she's going, it's a oneer that's tracking her movement from behind. And you're seeing stuff off in the background, like the strangers looking for her. I thought this shot was actually really cool. So I'm going to point it out because realistically, it's pretty much the only thing I liked about this film. I don't exactly remember who said it, but there's somebody famous associated with horror who said, whatever your imagination can kind of believe is always going to be scarier than what we get. And that was kind of the beauty of the original Strangers. You didn't see them too much. They were always off in the background. They were just kind of lingering there. It was tense. It was suspenseful. You didn't know what they were doing. They were stalking. This movie clearly did not hear the quote from that man, because this movie is so in your face about what's going on. Within the first 10 minutes of the movie, you have seen the guy with the bag on his head 5 times. This movie is afraid to go 3 minutes without showing you a stranger's mask. They know that's the only gimmick they got. They're emptying the clip. Honestly, it's a masterclass. For a movie that's about 90 minutes long, and I'd say it's about 45 to 60 minutes of like action suspenseful scenes, there is nothing suspenseful in this movie. It's one of the driest, most boring watches I've had all year. And it's also awesome because we know this character's not going to die. So the entire setup of this film is having this character wake up in a hospital. The strangers are going to attack her, but we know she's not going to die because this is a pre-approved trilogy. So all of the suspenseful scenes, as you see this guy with the bag on his head, the strangers, they're chasing her through this hospital. Ooh, they're looking for her. Are they going to find her? My guess would be no, because they're not going to kill the main character 5 minutes into a trilogy when it's the second movie. What are we doing? It's almost like they wanted to remake these films because they thought the masks were so cool. They just wanted to kind of sell them at Spirit Halloween or something, because the way they're using these characters has absolutely no relation or correlation to the first film. It's as if that property didn't even exist. We're introduced to a couple of dead bodies in the hospital when she stumbles upon the morgue room, and I'm not joking, when they introduced the bodies, I thought it was the Netflix show, Is It Cake? Like straight up, I was staring at the bodies saying, that's not a body, that's cake. I have no idea if it was a person with makeup. I have no idea if it was CGI. I was laughing because I was convinced it was cake. One of the main issues I had with Chapter 1 is prevalent in this movie as well. Because you don't have any characters, you have nothing to fulfill the runtime. The entire movie is on Madeline Pesh's shoulders, which It's kind of telling, I think. But because you don't have any characters that can die because you know she has to live for this movie to go on, she just kind of wanders around the world until she stumbles across somebody who just gets killed off as fodder because you need an occasional death for a horror film. And speaking of Madeline Pesh, I'm not really sold on her as an actress because I don't think she has a ton of acting range. She kind of just stares off like a deer in the headlights. She's always given me vibes of a girl who would have a Hinge profile, and the entire thing would be about being funnier than you or about requiring you to have a boat. But yeah, I don't know what to think about this. I mean, I guess she's okay in a couple of scenes, but I mean, the script she's acting out's about as deep as green eggs and ham. And another issue I have with chapter 1 that is here once again because we have the same director is I just think the aesthetic of these movies, the way they're filmed, is ugly as fuck. The whole thing gives off that Netflix straight to streaming digitalized style, and I just do not like it. There's nothing stylistic about this. There's nothing creepy, nothing suspenseful. It's vibrant and blue. It's almost got like a cool vibe to it, and it just does not fit these movies at all. Hard to explain. If you've seen the original Strangers, you'll probably agree, but these movies just have no artistic flair to them. They're just boring. There's no scares in this movie. There's no suspense in this movie. You see the strangers for 20 minutes straight. Really, the most gory thing you see in this film is her addressing a wound, like a stab wound on her stomach. And I have this theory, if a movie ever takes more than like 10 seconds, goes in depth with like 3 minutes of somebody tending to a wound, the movie's instantly shit. Comment down below, let me know if you agree with that, but I can't think of one movie that does that. That just feels like a reason for a movie to fill screen time where they have nothing else to do because the movie sucks. Some more stuff in the original Strangers, they're always off in the background. You don't see them too much. This movie shows them all the time, but they're also always off in the darkness. The way they're utilized is in the form of jump scares or built up scares. In this movie, the fuckers are walking around by the creek in broad daylight like they're going fly fishing. They do not care at all. These guys are just out walking around. There's no stealth element to them whatsoever. Anybody who's on a hike can see these guys. I guess the only thing you have to fear is that you're running into the worst threesome of your life if you cross these guys. But as for them being stealthy or getting the element of surprise, you'd see them coming a mile away. Oh yeah, forgot to mention, for some reason this movie has a giant CGI boar that attacks her too. Like a boar, a wild animal boar, straight from a Disney live action movie or from John Carter. What the fuck are we doing? But yeah, I don't know. There's nothing else to say about this. For somebody like me who loves horror movies, I love the original Strangers. It's beyond comprehension that we could get to this point in the trilogy. This is like unfathomably terrible to the point it's almost becoming comedic gold to go and see these movies, aside from the fact it's robbing me of my money and my time. There's nothing creative about this film. You don't really get any lore built up on top of what we already thought going into it, which again does not justify the need for this trilogy to begin with. You see the Strangers way too much. There's no tension. There's no suspense. Madeline Pesh is yeah, I think this was a sure lock when you saw it advertised, but The Strangers Chapter 2 is dog shit. I don't know how much more I can take, man. I mean, this took a lot out of me. This is going to be bad. I mean, if this video does bad, I might not even see the third movie in this trilogy. These are so bad. Like, I just don't even care. Comment down below if you go and see this. I really hope you don't. Save your time and money. But if you did, come back, comment, let me know. Like, comment, subscribe, join me down below. Hopefully the next time's a better one, but I will see you in the next review. Peace.